If you are a seller in the GTA, are you ready for a reality check? For what it seems like forever, you've been calling all the shots, smashing price records, and celebrating a climb that never seems to end. Well, the music has officially stopped. The party is over for the sellers. What if I told you that we just witnessed a record-breaking flood of new homes for sale, giving buyers more choices than they ever had in years? This isn't just market slowdown, it's a fundamental power shift. For the first time in a long time, buyers are getting back into the driver's seat. If you are thinking of selling your GTA home, you need to pay close attention to what's happening. For years, the entire story of GTA real estate was about one thing: scarcity, not enough homes, way too many buyers, and prices that seemed to defy gravity. As a seller, that was your golden ticket. Well, that story got a major rewrite. A massive record-breaking surge of new listings has just flooded the market. The sellers are feeling it everywhere, from Toronto to the surrounding suburbs. In this video, we're gonna dig into the hard data. No fluff, no wild speculations, just the numbers that should be guiding your selling strategy. We'll break down this astonishing surge in competition, pinpoint why the GTA is the epicenter of this cooling, and most importantly, unpack what this new reality means for your bottom line. If you're thinking about selling or just watching your home's value with a bit of an anxiety, this is the update you can't afford to miss. Let's get right down to the biggest factor changing everywhere for the sellers: the sheer number of competing homes for sale. And it's not just a trickling, it's a flood. September 2025 was a record smasher with astonishing 42,544 new listings hitting the market across Ontario, the most in any September on record. While that number cooled slightly to around 35,000 in October, the wave of the new homes was so huge that the number of active listings for sale now at a level you haven't seen over 5 years. So what does this really mean for you, the seller? We use a metric called months of inventory to check the market's pulse. A balanced market is about 3 to 4 months. For years, the GTA often had less than 2 months of inventory, meaning sellers had all the power. Well, as of October 2025, the months of inventory for Ontario has climbed past the 6-month mark we saw in September and is now continuing to rise, pushing the market firmly into the balanced territory, in many places a buyer's market. The message couldn't be any clearer. The chronic shortage that guaranteed a quick sale, high price sale for now is over. Your potential buyer finally have something that they haven't had in many years, which is a choice. And with that choice comes negotiating power. So what happens when a flood of new listings meet demand that's been crushed by affordability issues? Your price starts to feel the pressure. And this is where the seller, you need to look closely. Let's focus on the GTA, where the average price in October 2025 fell to $1,054,000. That's a sharp drop of 7.2% from the same time last year. But the average can be deceiving. That's why we look at the benchmark prices, which represents a typical home. Here, the cooling trend is undeniable. The provincial benchmark home price has also continued to slide, falling 6.7% year after year in September, confirming that the value of the most common types of homes is actively decreasing. What's really interesting is that this is happening even after the Bank of Canada cut the interest rates a few times between mid-2024 and early 2025. Many sellers hope that these cuts would pour gasoline on the fire and reignite the market. But in the GTA, the opposite has happened. The cut just weren't enough to overcome the deep affordability crisis. Buyer confidence remains shaky, and that massive surge in listing completely wiped out any potential price boost from the lower borrowing costs. This cooling trend isn't the same everywhere, and it highlights why the GTA sellers are in a unique position. When you zoom in, the GTA is the clear epicenter of the cooldown. It's still the most expensive place to buy, but it's also where the market is feeling the most pain. In the GTA, the average price dropped a significant 7.2% year after year in October to about $1,054,000. To understand how acute the pressure is in the GTA, just look elsewhere. The region where the steepest price dropped is in Northern Ontario, where the benchmark prices tumbled by 8.3% compared to last year, hurt by a weaker local economic condition. But then you have the outlier, Eastern Ontario, anchored by Ottawa. This region is proving to be incredibly resilient. While almost every other region is seeing prices drop, Ottawa's benchmark home price actually saw a slight increase of 0.7% year after year in October. Ottawa is stable. Government-fueled jobs market has allowed it to weather the storm far more effectively, which shows just how much superheated GTA market is correcting. All right, sellers. To succeed, you need to understand who you're selling to. The buyer has changed. The one you were dealing with a few years ago, desperate, frantic, and willing to do anything, is gone. For the first time in what feels like forever, today's buyer has leverage, and you need to adjust your strategy accordingly. That FOMO, the fear of missing out, that drove the market into a frenzy, it's been replaced by a calmer, more thoughtful buying process. Buyers now have time to see more than one house. They can and will negotiate on the price. And most importantly, they are putting in offers with conditions, like financing and home inspections. These crucial protections were basically thrown out the window during the madness, but they are back. As a seller, you need to expect these conditions and be willing and prepared to accept them. The competition isn't buyer versus buyer anymore. It's seller versus seller, and that puts them in the driver's seat. Now, for the reality check, the strategy that worked in the past 5 years, it's done. Putting a sign on the lawn and waiting for a line of buyers to show up with offers way over asking is not going to happen in this market. Pricing your home correctly from day one is everything. In a market flooded with options, overpricing your home is the fastest way to be ignored. Buyers are smart and they have plenty of other homes to look at. Your property needs to be one of the best looking, best price home in its category just to get noticed. That means thinking seriously about staging, putting professional photos, and having a real marketing plan. These are no longer optional add-ons. They are requirements to compete. It also means being mentally prepared for your home to sit on the market longer than a weekend. Patience and a willingness to negotiate are the keys to a successful sale in this new landscape. We're covering a lot of ground here, and I'm curious to hear from the GTA sellers. What are you seeing in your neighborhoods? Are you feeling the pressure of the new competition? Let me know in the comments below. Your stories from the ground will help all of us get a much clearer picture of what's really going on. So what does the future hold for your home's value? The general consensus among economists is that the pressure on the prices is likely to stick around. Forecasters like TD Economics and Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation (CMHC) are predicting that the large inventory of homes will keep a lid on the prices well into 2027. We'll probably see prices continue to soften before they find the bottom and stabilize. Sales activity is also expected to stay below the 10-year average for a while. The affordability wound is deep, and it's going to take time to heal. As the market finds its footing, buyers are expected to slowly jump back in, which should lead to a modest recovery in sales by 2027-2028. The near future is an adjustment period for sellers, but the long-term fundamentals for the province is still strong. So let's bring it all together. For the sellers in the GTA, the market has gone through a massive fundamental shift. The wild seller run party of the last few years, it's officially over. A record wave of listing has completely flipped the script, creating a much more competitive environment and handing power back into the buyer. This is putting a real downward pressure on prices, especially for the typical home in the central Ontario area. We're seeing this play out with the GTA feeling a major chill, while the markets like Ottawa are holding steady. For buyers, this is a golden opportunity. For you, the seller, it's a wake-up call to adapt. This is no longer a market running on hype. It's one that's getting back to the basics, driven by data and smart decisions. The big question now is, how do you price your home in a falling market? And what's the one mistake that could cost you tens and thousands of dollars? If you are thinking of selling, please give me a call at 416-845-9872 for a free, no obligation market evaluation. If you want to stay ahead of the challenging market with data-driven updates just like this one, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And if you found this breakdown helpful, giving this video a thumb up would be awesome. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. See you soon.